Hi, I see a couple people here trying to get everything going on YouTube as well. See how that's going. There we go. Okay. And now I'm looking at settings because I'm never on Zoom except this one time per month, and I'm always doing something. I'm always looking for things, so I'm just looking here real quick till we start. Oh, and I think I had my music or my sound muted, so if you tried to say anything, sorry. Hi, Tahia.
Hey, you guys see my terrible camera on this computer?
I'm using my old computer too, so that it's not great here.
It's not even an old computer. It's the MacBook cameras are just like the worst.
They're not great.
I've been in meetings all day at work.
Basement where I have all the play things hung for my children, so
it's a good background for a PTO meeting, though, right?
I asked them if I should be upstairs or downstairs if they wanted to play down here. So apparently we're upstairs finishing up homework.
That sounds like a party.
One more minute here. See, yeah, I already have a change on the, not a change, an addition for the agenda. So I'll let you know where that's at if you want to know.
Okay. 1 second, I'm getting it pulled up. And I'm really sorry. I'm usually more prepared than this. I literally got to work at 5:30, made dinner, and ran here.
I am not. I'm always rushing, and I'm always like, next month, I'm going to be more on top of it, and I'm not, guys. So
never, even for me, never. I knew this was, well, yeah, I thought it was yesterday, so that was fun.
It's always Thursday, if that helps. It's always Thursday.
Well, towards the end of my workday, I'm like, wait a minute, today is the 6th. That doesn't make sense. So.
And I'll get better at sending emails out too. I'm just.
No, it's okay.
We adopted a dog, just a puppy-ish, older puppy, and whew, last week was something. So apologize for that. Well, I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. 7:03 p.m. Thursday, October 7th, 2021. We don't have the meeting. We're still working on getting our stuff together for how we're going to do these things. So usually we'll approve the meeting minutes first. Tahia and I haven't really talked about how we're getting those together. So that's us. We will have them. They do follow. I did it so that they hopefully follow the agenda. So if our agendas are online and there aren't really any changes, then it's pretty much what the meeting minutes are. So
those have the notes and times from the previous meeting. I just hadn't updated
we'll talk and we'll get it. We'll figure out how we're going to get together. So just so everyone knows that, we will have those. The first thing we have to go over is the Treasury report. I did update our website with the financials. So it's Cornerstone Academy PTO /meeting-resources. If you go to meeting, I'm working on the website now because, again, I thought I should just try to do everything. And I want to make it a little bit easier to find the meeting resources. So I'm trying to figure out how to put that in there. But they are under meeting, you should see something that says meeting resources, and those are there. We paid the outstanding balance to Westerville Schools. That check cleared, so the $3,000-ish has been paid. So the school can now plan their field trips with them. We purchased a few carts for the teachers for Happy Carts. They just came today. I haven't put them together yet. The goal is to have some things that are specifically for Happy Carts, because I really want us to be able to monthly give the teachers something, at least monthly, and get sort of in a role of getting donations in. And so it's not all coming directly from the PTO, but like some parents can bring things in and maybe have different things each month, like something sweet one month and, you know, something savory the next month, just something for them to look forward to. And so we can treat them. Right now it's a little bit hard because I always feel like I'm scrambling to find a table, to find this. I don't want to take the wrong thing from somebody if somebody's using it. So I think if we just have some of our own things where we know this is where we're going to put things, I think it'll be a lot easier. And I did talk to Jessa and kind of talked about where we could set up and where we could put things. So then we don't have to ask every single time either. Like we kind of know where it will be and I know who to contact. So hopefully we'll get that going soon. I'll talk a little bit more about food upcoming. And then we did rent a storage space at Public Storage to house some of our larger PTO stuff. I know the school is bursting at the seams with students and teachers. We have like every space is being used, and we have some bigger stuff now that I just didn't want to like put in the way. I didn't want to add to that clutter. Also, it makes it easier for us to know what we have if we don't have to have it in like kind of 3 different places. So I got most of the stuff from the school last year when the school was kind of closed down to us, and I wanted to make sure we had what we needed. But that's been in my basement for too long, and that needs to kind of go. So I'm going to get that stuff over to Public Storage, and then we're going to have an inventory of it. So then we have a spreadsheet, so we always know like these are the things that we have. So if anyone even from the school needs to use something, like do they need a cooler, do they need this, we can say these are the things that we have and that you can use. And then also going forward, anyone in the new boards will know these are the things that we already own for the PTO. We don't need to buy more or any of those things. So we're going to do that. Going forward, we'll see how that works. I don't remember the exact cost of the monthly. It's like $75 or $80, something like that per month. But also once we see what we have, it'll be a little bit easier to know how much storage we need, if we need that much storage or if it's not that much that we need. So we'll see that going forward. For old business, our online shirt sales, those are still going. If you haven't gotten your shirt, you didn't order, it is still in the computer. I haven't gotten to it. I need to fulfill some. Sometimes there's only 1 or 2, and I don't just sit down to do 1 or 2, so I wait for them to be a few more. So I apologize if anyone has been waiting. I do plan on doing those tomorrow. So those should go home with students tomorrow afternoon. Let's see, dress down days. Tomorrow is our 5th dress down day. Our previous dress down days, I guess I could have put this in our treasury report. It's a little bit about what our money situation is. I think I put in our last one, our first dress down day made, it was like $900 or something. There was a lot of pay ahead dress down day in that one. So our second dress down day, we made $603.51. Our third dress down day, we made $412. And then our 4th dress down day, which was last week, made $399. And we don't always get exact amounts. Sometimes when people are counting change, they don't quite count right. So that's why the one had 51 cents. It was a little bit off. I decided when I'm counting, that's a little confusing for me. So I have a little jar where there were extra change to make it even. So now if it's 10 cents off, I kind of grab 10 cents and it all equals out. And then I'll just deposit that at the end of the year for whatever extra money we have. But it makes it way easier to know it's a dollar amount instead of change, because when it's early and you're digging through your car, you know, nickels and quarters look similar. So but we've been doing, I think, pretty well with the dress down days. It's pretty consistent between classes and things too, so that is pretty good. And we did get our check from Skate Zone for our event, and it was for $460. So for not really having to do much work besides putting the information out there, we did $460. It's pretty good payback. So even though I hurt myself really bad, it's totally worth it. And then hopping back to the treasury, because I didn't put it in there and then I wrote it down on my little pad here, just for an overall, if you don't go into the money and see that right away, we have $603.31 in our checking account, $9,325.66 in savings, and our second savings account has $300.10, giving us a grand total of $10,229.07. And we have an $859 deposit. That's our $399 dress down day, fourth dress down day, and our Skate Zone $460. So that gives us a grand total of $11,088.07. I think we're in a really good space. That's why I really want to start getting on our happy carts and then seeing what we can do to help the school. So those are things that we're going to reach out to figure out here very soon. Yeah. Okay, and then I have a field trips. So we paid the outstanding balance, and then I did communicate with the administration about possibly for them to collect busing with the field trip monies, and then we offered to donate $3,000 in excess of that balance. So however we sort of figure that out as we go, that can be a thing that can come up to as we go along and figure out what our money situation's like. I'm happy with what we're doing right now. I think we have a decent plan going forward to kind of make some more money. So I think that we're in a good spot for now. New business, teacher conferences. Typically the PTO does provide food for the conferences that are happening on Monday. But the school board is doing they're providing food, I think, for teacher PD days, and they missed one. So they're actually gonna pick up the food for the conferences on Monday. So we won't have to do that conference meal. So we'll plan on doing the next conference meal in the spring. And then for Teacher Appreciation Week, we usually also do a meal. So we're still planning on doing that, but we don't have to plan that right now. So that's good. Trunk or treat is coming up at the end of the month from I think I would remember the date. 27th. So Wednesday, the 27th is when we have slotted for trunk or treat. 6:30 to 7:30 is what I have sort of on the calendar for now. That's kind of fluid and until we figure out sort of exactly how it will go. We are going to do a sign up sheet this year. So we'll do a sign up sheet for donations for candy. For those people that can't attend, but that want to participate in some way, they can donate some candy. Pretty much every year, the people that have their cars decorated will run out of candy at some point. And I had extra bags in my car one year because I was going to give it away and I didn't. So I started handing them out. So we can refill those people, or if we just have a bunch of candy and nobody runs out, we can hand it out. But I think it's a good idea to have some extra donations. And if we have any left, we can donate that to the teachers, because I know some of them have little candy bins for their students for good behavior and stuff like that. And more importantly, slats for cars. I want to kind of know how many cars we're expecting. And this year, I would like to have a specific place for the people to park. Previously, we've sort of parked throughout the parking lot in a bunch of different spaces. So there's kids running and cars moving, and I'd really like to try to eliminate as much of that as possible. So if we have an idea of how many cars we'll have and how much space we'll need, that will help mitigate some of those concerns. So if you're interested in helping plan that or have ideas for that, you can send them our way. Right now, we're not planning on doing any kind of games as the PTO. We were thinking that people could set up games also in their car, in their trunk for trunk or treat. So maybe you don't give out candy, but maybe you have a game or something like that. Those are things that we'll put out there pretty soon. Probably starting next week, you'll start seeing some art with trunk or treat information. And then the one thing that I was thinking about with trunk or treat is if there are any fundraising opportunities in there. It was really easy with Ice Cream Social to have a few, we're not going to peg anybody with water balloons. Clearly, I don't know, it might be hot enough because it's crazy. But I think that maybe there might be something else. Maybe it is just a ask for donations or something like that. Not exactly sure. So if anyone has any ideas on ways that we could have it be a fundraiser, it doesn't have to make a ton of money, just bring in a little bit of money. That would be nice. I did reach out to my community page for food trucks, and it's a little bit late, so I don't know that we'll be able to get one for that. I don't really know if there's a specific website that people go to find all the different food trucks, or they just kind of know them. So they bring them into our neighborhood. So I'm hoping that whoever does that in our neighborhood can give me a little bit of information, because sometimes the food trucks will give a kickback. So that's one thing that I am thinking about that we could do as a fundraiser. So kids have candy, but there's also a dinner opportunity or something there too. So, but if anyone has an idea, along our way, because I'll take all your ideas. I'll say it every single time. I'm tired of coming up with ideas, so I'm happy to take other ideas and run with them. The next thing after trunk or treat, we have the Scholastic Book Fair. That's, I think, the next week. It goes November 3rd through the 5th. We'll probably need help on the 2nd and the evening of the 5th, probably. I think that's Friday, yeah, for setup and tear down. I have not done it personally, but I know that the books come in big cabinet type things, so a lot of it is closing up the cabinets and all. There are some that we sit out on tables and things too, though, so there is a little bit of setup and tear down with that. I'd like to get together to get some donations for refreshments for the volunteers. So just soda, chips, and granola bar, something like that. So if people are volunteering for a little while, they have something that they can at least take with them to for their time. And which will probably also be a sign-up sheet. I'll do another sign-up sheet again with actual volunteer needs. So we'll need people to ring up the books, to restock the books, and then the setup and tear down. And the book fair, like the school, will be masks will be required. So if you're volunteering, you will be required to wear a mask. And I don't know exactly where it's going to be yet, but we will. I'm going to try to set it up so we have at least 15 minutes in between classes, so we can sort of we can clean things and air out the room. I don't know if we'll have fans or something kind of blowing air out. I just like the idea of not putting them right next to each other, so there's a little bit of breathing room for everyone sort of involved. We'll have hand sanitizers and things like that to be as safe as we possibly can. The other thing that we need to start thinking about is our winter breakfast. The winter breakfast is another thing that, and I'm throwing these out here, and these are things that we can think about going forward. If anyone has ideas, email, things like that. But I'm just wondering if we should hold it with food. And is there a value in planning and holding it this year with COVID? And my concern with that is just as the winter progresses, that like with the flu and things like that, you know, people get sicker and sicker, and I'd hate to plan something that's really involved to not be able to kind of follow through with it. So my thought is we don't have food, and there's some other, in the past we did food, we did a little craft fair, and we did a silent auction. I don't know if taking the food away and just doing a craft fair and a silent auction is something, or if it's just not that. We kind of reimagine it completely from what it was, and do something different altogether. So those are things that we can think about going forward. There is an opportunity for a winter activity, what do they call it? It's like a holiday shop type thing. It's called Penguin Patch. We talked to them year before last, before COVID, pre-COVID. We were talking to them about coming into the school, and what they do is they have a bunch of like cheap little trinkets and things, you know, like when you went to school. And well, okay, when I went to school, they always had that little Christmas shop, and kids would bring in money and they would buy something for like their parents or their grandparents or something like that. It's that kind of thing. They sell all kinds of different stuff. We spoke to them at the PTO Today conference, and they can do a lot of different things. They have religious stuff, but then you can get like a kit that's like not religious, that's just like gifts. And I was thinking about that, if that's something that could take the place of, and they usually do that during the school day, so I'd have to talk to them to see what that's all about. But that's a possibility. It's also a fundraiser for us to do something like that. And I was thinking about that, and then she actually called me today and emailed me. So I'm going to get back in contact with her for her to give me a little bit more details about that. But that's like another idea of something that we could do for the winter breakfast. I was hoping that the winter breakfast could be more open, and I wanted to call it the winter breakfast, so it wasn't a holiday-based thing. It wasn't a religion-based thing. So I'm hoping that even if it's a holiday bazaar or a gifting thing, that we can still include most of our students. It's just really hard to know what to do if we don't do the breakfast type thing. So things that we can talk about. If anyone has ideas, if you have an idea of how to make it work with the breakfast, or you're interested in planning something like that, we need lots of people for planning. You could come in and, come in with your ideas and actually plan it. And that would also work, because again, I'm running out of ideas. So anything like that is helpful. And then I think Tahia and I talked about this, and we'll talk about this more too, her and I, but we need some volunteer bloggers. We really want to start getting the blog on our website going, and we want to do it in a way that, so the PTO is sort of to connect the home and the school together. And we really like the idea of introducing topics and just, personal things about the families and the school, so it feels more personable about, this is my story. I don't know exactly what the topics would be, but like things like autism, like if people have children with autism, or if they have something to say or something to teach everyone else, I really would love it if we could have a place where people can get that kind of information out, and they can in a way that's like, it's not just like Autism Awareness Month and somebody might have it. It makes it much more personal. Like, no, you know somebody at your school that has this, and this is what it is. Or if it's something about like, if it is about religion, we have a lot of Muslim students. So like if we're having somebody write about that, topics that we can really engage and try to like get people going, like, listen, we're all parents, we're all people, and these are the things that we all kind of deal with, in a way that's like, yeah, you know, we're moms too, we're dads too. You're like, these are the things that we're dealing with. So Tahi and I were going to come up with some topics on that. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I want to also add that this idea came up during COVID, just to, like you said, to connect the families with the school, but also to highlight teachers because they work very, very hard. And maybe the teachers are doing something pretty cool. They want to highlight, maybe their students are doing well in something, maybe they have a project. We just want to be able to kind of bridge that, and get people a little more involved. I think when things are personal, people are more willing to be involved and to keep up with what's going on. So I just wanted to add that.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. So her and I will get together and figure out how we're going to do that. I think having a list of topics to start with is good, because then we can put that out there like, hey, do you know anything about this? If you do, can you write something for us? And then if you have your own idea about what you would like to write to kind of put out there, we would love to hear it and, you know, make sure that it would be appropriate for what we're trying to do. But yeah, I think that it's just it's an opportunity for us. It's that opportunity to really bring that parent school connection together. So and teachers too. Like, I do like the idea of teachers, like if they're doing something really special in their classroom, doing something a different way, like bringing that up so parents can see that. Because a lot of times we don't see that. My kids come home and half the time, I don't know what my first grader's talking about. He's like, oh, we did this thing in the treasure box. And I'm like, I have no idea what any of this means. So that's also another way to, like, you know, for the teachers to communicate without having to tell every single parent separately, like, oh, this is what it is. And this, you know, so I think that will be fun to get that going. And then the other thing that we need is a November event coordinator. Again, people that want to coordinate some events for us, that would be perfect. I made some monthly calendars that you'll see in the school, and I'm not sure if Alyssa, I didn't look at paw prints yet, Alyssa, but I think she'll probably put them out there somewhere where it has listed like the things that we'll need for the next month or we need for that month. I'm trying to make it a little bit easier and accessible for people to know what we might need. So for November, we have an event planned, just like a time saying, hey, we'd like to have an event, but I don't have anything for that yet. So if somebody wanted to do something like that, they could. What we're thinking about is things like a trampoline park, bowling. I've been this idea of like an art night. So like, you know, some art spaces will do like, you know, the painting where everyone does the same painting. Maybe for our students who aren't as like, don't have as much energy or need a little bit less stimulation, like for the sounds and stuff. So anything like that, or anything that, you know, could be going into our fundraising type thing. Most places will do some type of fundraiser. It doesn't have to raise funds, but my theory is if we're doing something anyway and we can raise some money, why not? So all it really needs, this position needs, is to make some phone calls and figure out like what it could be. And then we can talk about it and say, yeah, that sounds great, and we can do it. So I'm pretty open to those things. I think we have one slated for each month except December, because December is pretty short with our break and everything like that. So even going forward, planning ahead, there are some months that we can plan ahead for some other things. Skate Zone said that they would have us back. They're doing something weird that they're only allowing 2 things per year, which is fine. But they said that they could have us back. So I'm planning on probably in the spring setting that up again, and definitely not skating myself this time. It's too painful. I'm too old. I'm just too old for it. It's okay. So yeah, anything like that, we're definitely looking for some more help with. So November event, you got an idea? Or if you have an idea like, hey, I know this place that does this really cool thing, that helps us too, just so at least we know somewhere else to kind of look. So all of that is very helpful. The ending part of our agenda, I just left the volunteer and help needed from last time. A lot of it goes over what I just did, what I just said. The stuff I just said is like the upcoming, like those are the next kind of things that we need. But the volunteer help is kind of like an overview of the whole thing. I just left that on there for anyone that maybe didn't see it last month, just to leave it on there so they know what's going on. And if anything changes on there, I'll update it, but I'll just leave it on there for now with those kinds of things. So I think that's all I have for that. I'm gonna look at your questions now. Thank you, Alyssa, for telling everyone. I'm not good at stopping to look at questions. So, okay, so the first question I see here is about how to buy spiritware. So our website is cornerstoneacademypto.com. You can also just type in your CAPTO, YOURCAPTO.com, and that goes to the same place. It's just a little bit shorter to put on our posters and things. Goes to the same URL. And then if you go to this computer over here set up, but I took it down, so I'm gonna try to type in here. See if my computer will. I typed in Y and it goes straight there. It's like where I go here. Okay, so if you go to, oh yeah. I tell you, if I was better at Zoom, I'd share my screen and show you. Dare I try it? I might not try it. Start share. Oh. Oh. Okay. Pray for me, guys. It's like a, okay. Can you guys see my screen now? Okay. So if you go to cornerstoneacademypto.com and you go to shop, it will take you to our site. And these are all the things that we have right now that are in stock. A few of the older style shirts and these two new shirts, and you should just be able to go and order, click on whatever you need and order as you would. You can pay with PayPal or credit card. If you pay for shipping, I will ship them to your house. I don't care. If not, then I will fulfill the orders. I put them in a plastic bag. My stuff's down here. I have, this is the tiniest space. If you guys can see it, is just trying to get it here. Here we go. I made new ones. So just they'll be in a paper bag like this and it has the name, the student name and everything like this. I just reprinted these bags. These ones are new because but sometimes I put them in the teacher mailboxes. Sometimes I give them straight to the teachers just so because they're big and I just want to make sure that they get there. So then they should just go home with your student in their backpacks. So if you don't pay for shipping, you don't have to pay for shipping. It'll come to you that way. And while we're on here, the meetings and meeting resources are on right here too. So if you click on that, also our September financials should pop up a PDF also with the meeting agendas. The ones that are grayed out are not up yet. So only the ones in color are. And I stopped the share. Oof. Look at me, a Zoom pro. Okay, I have a direct message here. Oh, thank you, Tahia, for putting the links in there. Okay, because somebody asked about the winter breakfast, what was done in the past. They're saying that they can prepackage food. So what's been done in the past for the winter breakfast is We've had somebody come in and make pancakes, I believe, pancakes, waffles, pancakes, pancake breakfast, I think is what we were calling it at some point. Just made pancakes, juice, coffee, I think. People came $5 to $7. I can't remember exactly what we charged before. You could go have breakfast. Year before last when we did it, we had the breakfast catered. You could go sit in the gym, eat the breakfast, and then down the halls we had a small craft show. So just anyone that was anyone could sign up, but people from the school, or if you have like a small craft business, you could set up your crafts and people shopped. And then we did a silent auction where someone had coordinated getting all of the things for the silent auction, set them up in the office area, and then people they bid on the stuff, and then they paid us at the end of the auction. So all in all, it doesn't sound like a lot, except that each of those three things take a lot of planning. So the pancake, people would take some planning. And I know that the previous, the year that I was involved with it, it was kind of last minute. We paid a lot for the pancakes. But the year before that, even then, the catering of the pancakes was like $1,200 or something, which just seemed like really high for pancakes. I don't know. So we would have to figure out like how we were getting the pancakes or how we were getting the breakfast, whatever that was going to be. And then last year, when I say last year, I just mean pre-COVID because I can't keep anything straight. Nurse Krista set up all of the vendors. And so she dealt with all of that. So she collected the money. I think we collected $15 or $20 from each person just so they could have the space in the school. And so it was a donation to us. So she did all of that and coordinated them and got them the information. And then another teacher who's left, she did the silent auction. So she reached out to all these different companies to get like these good stuff donated so then we could auction them off for money. So all of it together, it doesn't sound like a lot, but the three separate things and then still decorating for it and kind of holding it, it's just a lot. So it just depends on how busy it is too. Because we're asking people to come in and then when they're eating, they're going to take their masks off. I get it, but how can we keep everyone far enough apart where we feel safe? I don't really want to be the reason that we have a COVID outbreak at the school, like I feel like the school's doing really well with all their precautions. And the last thing I want to do is go like, hey, let's do this thing. And then like spread it some more. So those are my only concerns.
Because I typed in the chat, I think it's the other idea is better too. When we did the ice cream social, there were a lot more people than we expected to show up, and that was outdoors, and it was hard to manage outdoors. So if you think about the space in the gym or the space in the school, I know the people that showed up to that would not fit in there comfortably, then with masks and eating and things like that.
Yeah.
And also the manpower to pull, like you explained that, but the manpower to pull that together successfully in a short time at this point, because it's October, we're hitting mid-October. I'm not sure if that's just the most efficient use of our time and resources when we can have something a lot better that services everyone, right? The students can have fun at a different type of event. The parent, we can still fundraise in a different way. So that's just my thought on it. I don't know how well everyone would fit.
Right. And so those are the things. And maybe what we need to do is put out like a survey or something of sort of gauging the interest in and how everyone feels about that. But I do think as of now, I am not going to do, me personally, I'm saying this as this isn't set in stone, but I'm saying me personally, I am not going to start planning like the normal event because it is a lot. And unless some other people step up and say, I'd really love to help, then maybe I'd reconsider. But without that help, it's too much. And we really would probably need to really spread it out, like a committee of 8 people maybe, and having volunteers to be able to man the silent auction and man sort of the different areas and just help people find things. So, I mean, it's heftier than you think. Like you think, oh, we just need this and that, and then it leads into more. So it's not so much about the food. And I know we can do prepackaged food. I understand that. I think that's a great idea. I like that for like other things that we're doing too. It's just, I think Tihi and I probably from the ice cream social, we were a little shocked about how many people showed up, which was great. It was like lovely. Same thing for Skate Zone. I was like so surprised how many people showed up. I love the support. And I love that people at Cornerstone really want to be so involved. But yeah, it's a lot of people. And that's the other thing with event spaces. Event spaces are bigger because they usually hold more people. So it's a lot easier for us to feel safer, like we have enough room to sort of breathe and contain everyone. And also there is a limit on our gym and in the school, I would assume, but for the gym specifically, there is a limit that we can't go over for fire code. So we could easily do that because there's so many of us. So if anyone has any ideas, or if you have ideas, like, because I do see this person here, Patricia, if you have ideas about that, feel free to email us. Again, Cornerstone Academy PTO at gmail.com. Emailing me your ideas or what you're thinking. And, definitely I'd love to like read over some things. And if anyone has ideas like that, I don't want to just say no outright, but for what it is now, we'd need a lot of manpower. And kudos to previous boards that have done this, and they've done it like pretty bare bones, and they've pulled it together, because that's no easy feat. So nature of the beast right now. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Michaela, it's Mrs. Lewis. I'm not going to pop on with a picture. I'm,
okay.
I
know what you look like.
I'm momming it right now. So huddled up with my kids. But for those of you who are on and don't know me and wouldn't recognize my face, I apologize. But I am the parent and community liaison. And I just want to pop into what Michaela was saying about the COVID concerns and safety. It's a really unique position that not only the PTO, but the school itself is in, as we're constantly flexing on what's going to happen tomorrow. And I think knowing from being on the board, planning this type of event, and being that the school was smaller, my 2 cents for what it's worth is, I think for this year, looking at not having all school events that are inside the building is going to meet both the expectations of safety that the administrative team and the school board are trying to put into place, and also at the same time that balance of worry and concern as parents that we all have with being in a large space with a lot of people and not really having any control of it. I'll say my husband works at OSU in the libraries, and he does not like being the mask police. And that's the last place that I think we want to put our volunteers in an all school wide position to do that. So I think it's really fair to say that this year is not the right choice to do some type of holiday breakfast type event, but maybe how can something be done smaller within that? And I think that there's probably some bigger conversations that need to happen um, with our administrative team and possibly even the school board about what they're wanting as far as people in the building, since we're not even really having a lot of volunteers in. So that's a separate conversation I think the board can have. I know Mr. Leone is on here, but I'm not going to put him in that position right now either and say, look, dude, you need to tell us right now what you're thinking, because it's a team of administrators, and it's not just at the main campus, it's also at the annex. But that being said, one of the ladies who's on here, Patricia, direct messaged me that she has some access to hashing out some food truck information. So that's an avenue that maybe could be taken in another direction, either with stuff we're doing for the teachers or doing an event that's kind of staggered, like during the week or something. So I'll let you all take that for what it's worth, but just thinking, knowing conversations I've had with both Mr. Leone and also you, Michaela, that's kind of a consensus of what I'm gathering on it. So
can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Hi, welcome everyone. Good evening. What I can tell you is the following, and I think that in the beginning, right before school started, when I spoke with Michaela, is that we kind of wanted to do like a soft opening, like the year to be a soft opening of the things that we have done in the past, because PTO was full of events that, that would make a month, full of fun things, for the community and families and the students. And so since we didn't have anything last year, I guess the purpose of this year was for us to just kind of get it going a little bit and just see what happens. What we're finding is that in our own effort to, to try to bring some semblance of what the past was, we're finding ourselves with, a lot more hurdles than we thought that we were going to have, and it's odd because we, we have all our kids in the building, and that puts a scene, when people see the school, it puts the impression that, things are back to normal, when in reality it's just like 3 times a lot more difficult to deal with every single situation. Something that, we have communicated, with the staff, just to bring a little bit of perspective, is that a lot of things that we're going through with COVID, there's a ton of them that has to do with things that are happening outside of school, So in other words, we have students and staff members and other folks that, we've sent letters out about, about being positive. But when you look at, the source, the main source of those positive results, it has nothing to do with us, which it's good for us to know, because it means that all the things that we're trying to do and keep up, with having 800 kids in the building, it's working. But at the same time, it does put a huge monkey wrench into the operations. And so I hear what, Ms. Lewis is saying. I hear what Michaela is saying, which we don't want to be, we don't really want to be the source, just for the sake of keeping something that we've done in the past, when in reality, we're really trying our best to, to keep everyone safe under the circumstances. And if we have to, keep things, at bay, and just take one more year off in doing those type of, events, then I think people would understand. I know for sure that I would, that I will understand it, because, the last thing that we want is for us to do, a breakfast in the beginning of December. And then, within a week, I have to do contact tracing for a whole bunch of, folks, because that includes, that includes students, and it could include, staff members that are going to be present there. So,
yeah, we want to help you, not make more work for you. So
right.
that's definitely, that's
Right.
Yeah,
And the intention is to try to bring some semblance of the past, because that creates positivity as well, but we don't really want to do things just for the sake of doing that, and then kind of look like we're not really thinking through about the repercussions of having 300 people in the gym, which obviously it's not feasible. That's something that we can't do at this time with
and
COVID.
I know that like Tahia was saying, when we were outside for the ice cream social, we were outside and there were still so many people that I was like, oh, I wished I had my mask on, because I was running around doing things, and there was no way to, it was like controlled chaos. No one of us could have really done much of anything to mitigate, get people and where they're going. So,
And we also didn't expect the large turnout, which now it's like
I'm going to expect it
unexpected.
from now on. I've
Yeah,
stopped.
I mean, I do. Yeah, I do now. But it was something that you usually feel more comfortable outside, right? You have fresh air. A lot of people aren't going to wear masks because it was outside, and it was too much for outside with COVID being a thing. So I agree with everyone.
I gotta say that the ice cream social has always been one of the biggest events that we have, and it's because it brings not only the staff in and the students, but it also brings the students that were at Cornerstone. So there were lots of kids there that don't even attend Cornerstone, that that were participant, and it's expected. It's almost like an alumni meeting of some sorts. We used to do that too with bonfires, sponsored by student council. The very first one in October in the fall, that used to be also kind of like an alumni event, where we would have kids come to the school, and they would ask me for permission, actually, if they could come, and I would, depending on the number of students that we had, we would say yes, and we would have a good group of kids that were part of the Cornerstone family while being in the building, and now they continue to be family, but with their own thing, doing their own thing, and those events we can't do them anymore, and so
We have a bigger school even now.
yes, we
People
do.
that are already there. So I think I'm comfortable then, since we have Mr. Leon here, and we all seem to be sort of on the consensus that we will not do winter breakfast. And we'll try to see if there's an event that we can fill in its place that will be fun and entertaining. And if not, we'll just kind of skip it, because that's a short month anyway, because it's the beginning of December and we only have a few weeks, and then it's our break. So we'll do that going forward. We'll think about what that can be, if somebody has an idea of what that might be able to be, or we just let it go. I'm okay with letting some stuff go. I'm good. So we're gonna go with no winter breakfast, and we'll rethink it as we go. And things like that might change in the spring, because I do know that today they released that Pfizer has put the 5 to 12, 10, whatever the age range is, up for emergency FDA approval. So I'm assuming that's probably going to be like in November. So maybe not like in December, but maybe as more kids are vaccinated and things too, going into the next year, we might see that it's something we can do. We can pick things back up in the spring or something like that. So like Mr. Leon said, we want to be like as normal as we can be while still being as safe as possible. So I think that those things are all great. Okay, I don't see any more questions. The last thing I do want to mention is I've talked about a lot about all of the different volunteering opportunities. I am going to, we have a list of people who signed up that wanted to be notified of volunteer opportunities or just things with the PTO. I have that list. It's like half of it's handwritten from when we were doing things, half of it is in our, if you purchase something from us, you end up on our list, or you can sign up on our website. So we have some people there. So I do want to get some information out to those people who specifically wanted some information about the PTO and about volunteering, and get that information out to them specifically. And I talked to Janaea about it a little bit. And I think we're gonna meet, maybe Tahia and Janae and I will have like a little meeting and we'll talk about some of these things where we get that together. So then we can get that information out to people also easier. So it's all in sort of one spot. So trying to get this organized as I go. So if anyone else doesn't have any, there are no more questions. And we're going once, going twice. Okay. Our next meeting is Thursday, November 4th. Thursday, Tahia. Thursday, November 4th.
There's no guarantee I will not show up on Wednesday still, but you know, we'll figure it out.
At 7 p.m. The Zoom, unless we have any problems with the Zoom will be the same. It's a reoccurring Zoom, so all the information should be the same. So if you're on here now, it's the same sort of information. I'm sure Miss Lewis will put it all out again, but just so everyone knows, that's what it is. It will also be on YouTube Live, which I won't be monitoring while it's live, but if there are any questions, I'll try to go back and answer those somehow, either through her or on our website. Yeah, okay, so if there's no other questions, then I move to adjourn at 7:56. Look, under an hour still. We're doing good. Thanks everyone, and remember, please always email if you guys have questions. Email us. I'm pretty good at getting on email. Sometimes there's a few days in between, but I'm pretty good at responding, so just let me know. Okay, thanks everyone.
Bye.